Democrats in Congress, and I might say there's stenographers in the legacy media as well, they all love to discuss Russian efforts to influence our elections. We've all heard this kind of stuff for years now. And look, I don't want to diminish. It's important that we should be on guard against any foreign effort that threatens our election integrity. No question about that. But why has the legacy media ignored the ongoing effort by a Swiss billionaire to exploit loopholes in our system? He's donated almost $500 million through a liberal dark money network that's explicitly designed to advance a left-wing policy agenda and politicians that hold to such agenda. How can Congress take action to close these loopholes? Well, joining me now for this election integrity discussion is J. Christian Adams. He's the president of the Public Interest Legal Foundation. J. Christian, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Congressman.
All right. So let's begin with this billionaire. Tell us who he is and what has he been able to accomplish.
Well, Hans Wies is from, I believe, Switzerland. And as you know, foreign nationals are not allowed to make hard dollar contributions to federal candidates. But in the brand new world of 2024, what does that matter when you can make multi-million-dollar contributions to 501c3s on the left who end up supporting those same candidates? Groups like the League of Women Voters, which is a left-wing group, or the whole constellation of left-wing 501c3s in the election space. And Congressman, I can name 50 of them, but nobody would want to hear all the names. But Protect Democracy Project, all the Soros groups, ACLU, LULAC, on and on and on. And so what he does is he gives his donations to C3 charitable entities, not hard dollar donations to candidates. And then they end up striking down election integrity laws in Kansas, Arizona. Ohio just had a law struck down this week. And that's how he gets the job done. You don't need to give hard dollars to candidates when you could change the laws.
So that's the focus of this project, if you will, this campaign that he's involved with, is to alter our election laws in different states and thereby open the door for whatever else, be it fraudulent activity or advancing left-wing agenda or what? I mean, how does this work and what is the ultimate outcome when it does go through?
Well, I'll give you a hard example. Public Interest Legal Foundation is suing in Nevada and Washoe County, which is Reno, and Clark County, which is Vegas, over the fact they have thousands of people registered at commercial addresses, right? Like sleeping at Larry Flint's Hustler Club. I'm serious, that's one of them. Vacant lots, liquor stores, casinos, bars. They're registered voters there, and you're not allowed to do that. So we brought a lawsuit to try to get this cleaned up before the election. Well, what happens? Progressive 501c3 groups funded by donors try to intervene in our case to stop the voter roll cleanup because they like it that thousands of ballots get automatically mailed in Nevada to places like Larry Flint's Hustler Club, casinos, bars, head shops where they sell paraphernalia. They're all getting ballots, Congressman, automatically under Nevada law. So these progressive groups are trying to preserve the status quo, trying to make sure that the election stays broken, and we have to fight them in court. We have hearings to try to keep them out of the case. So it's just one small little example out of hundreds like it, where C3 money through Swiss billionaires is affecting our elections.
Well, this is one of those individuals that previously, to be very honest with you, I was not familiar with. You would think I would have heard of this guy before, but I haven't. But what I've come to find out is the Wies family, they have actually been very open in their goal to reinterpret the American Constitution in light of progressive policies and woke radical agenda. So what is their ultimate goal, their ultimate outcome? What are they hoping to see?
Yeah, they want to reshape America into a European, semi-socialist, progressive secular country. That's their goal, and they're not very shy about it either. They want to impose their values through the C3 infrastructure. When I say C3, I mean 501c3 groups that are charities, ACLU, NAACP, LULAC, League of Women Voters, all of this constellation, as I called it earlier, of left-wing groups. They want to change America through C3 dollars. And frankly, Congressman, they're having a pretty good result so far. I mean, it's one of the things that's transformed this country fundamentally are all these left-wing C3 groups.
All right, so what are some of the loopholes that are being exploited? What are we talking about here that needs to be corrected?
When Congress wrote the campaign finance laws, they were focused on hard dollar contributions to candidates. In other words, I write a check for a congressman's reelection or a senator's reelection or the president, and that money goes straight to the congressman, and he can spend it however he wants. And Congress decided that's a bad idea to let foreigners make those contributions. So it's actually a crime. You can't make contributions to candidates if you aren't an American citizen. But there's a loophole, and that's the C3 world. When it comes to hard dollars, Congressman, C3 spending in campaigns or to shape the country is about 10 times hard dollar expenditures. It runs into the billions of dollars by left-wing C3s. Planned Parenthood, NARAL, NOW, I don't know if NOW even still exists, National Organization of Women. If you're out there, you're doing a bad job. But the point is, they use these C3 charitable dollars to get around the hard dollar ban in Congress. So what does that mean? It means maybe Congress ought to look at this problem and say, not only can you not contribute directly to candidates, you can't contribute to American 501c3 organizations, because they're the ones doing the heavy lifting now for the left, is the C3 groups.
Well, I can pretty much assure you that just as I was, there are many members of Congress who are not aware of the exploitation of this loophole. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to have you on to discuss this, to put some wind to this sail and to highlight what's going on. If I can, though, switching gears with you while I have you, the Public Interest Legal Foundation has an ongoing investigation into fraudulent addresses that have been used to register voters in Nevada. This has been an issue with election integrity that's raised a lot of concern with a lot of people. Tell us what's going on there in Nevada.
The worst part about it is, remember, that Nevada automatically mails ballots to every single registered voter, even dead or alive, and some dead people will get them. But every single person on the list, they don't even have to ask for it. The government just mails ballots to everyone. So when you have corrupted voter rolls, and we visited, you should see our video. If you Google Public Interest Legal Foundation or PILF Nevada video, you'll see it. We went to visit these places. We went to the Sonic Drive-In where people were registered to vote at Sonic. We went to bars and keno parlors, and we didn't go into the strip clubs, but we stood outside and took video. We went into these liquor stores where people are automatically going to get ballots mailed to them if they're just on the rolls. And Congressman, it's a serious problem because we know that in Nevada, the voters don't live there because we visited. There is no voter at thousands of addresses. So those ballots are going to go mailed in. Apartment complexes are going to have piles of ballots in the lobby. And remember, the U.S. Senate race in Nevada was decided by about 7,000 votes. And we know that 95,000 ballots got screwed up in the mail last time. So it's the worst way to run an election. It's a shame they get any electoral votes with a system this messed up.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff. I just recently wrote a book on election integrity, and I deal with this issue of the voter rolls and this type of thing. I mean, Georgia, where I'm from, has had major problems, still does, in many regards on the voter rolls being kept accurate. And you deal with what's happening there in Nevada. There are so many other states, Wisconsin, so many places, that this is a massive issue. How can we, and perhaps what can we make of the election officials there in Nevada and some of these other states who absolutely fail. They are resistant to investigate obvious, like you just mentioned, commercial addresses. What do we make of these elected officials who refuse to investigate and fix errors on the voter roll?
Well, first of all, we're going to find out next month because we have some hearings in court in both Clark County, which is Vegas, and Washoe, which is Reno, on our lawsuit. So we're going to see if the defendants decide, we got to do something about this problem before we mail ballots. But I will tell you, Congressman, that the Nevada Secretary of State called us because they wanted to intervene in the case. Intervene means join the case. And when we first talked to them, we thought they wanted to intervene on our side because, after all, isn't it their job as the Secretary of State to keep the voter rolls clean? Well, we were disabused of that idea very quickly when they told us they wanted to intervene to preserve the broken status quo, that they wanted to get involved in the case to defend the messed up system. What does that tell you about the Nevada Secretary of State? I don't think your viewers need me to tell them what that means, but it is not a good state of affairs.
Wow. Yeah, and the truth is that these fraudulent addresses matter, especially, I mean, always, but especially when you have close elections. Can you touched on it a little while ago with the Senate race, but put this in perspective for us, how important this issue is.
One vote can make a difference. We have a tied election database, Congressman Heiss, at Public Interest Legal Foundation. All the elections in the country that ended in a tie, a flat tie in the last couple of years. You know how many we're up to? Like 740. It's not just that every now and then that they end in a tie. It's a regular occurrence, and that's why everybody's vote makes a difference. So when you have a place like Nevada, or you have a place like Pennsylvania, where non-citizens have been getting on the voter rolls there for 20 years, and we're in court against them too in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals after we won at the lower court. They want to hide how bad the problem is in Pennsylvania with non-citizen voting. So when you have elections ending in a tie and you have corrupted voter rolls, automatic mail voting to commercial addresses, non-citizen voting, it can make a real difference in the country.
So what is the solution to all of that? At the end of the day, how do we fix it?
Well, the line that just came to me is fight, fight, fight. And I promise I haven't used that before. I mean, literally, we have to keep working this. If you are getting mail and election mail from somebody who used to live in your house, call the election office and get that off the rolls before it gets exploited. If you move to another state, change your address and your election address. Better yet, if you can, volunteer to work the polls on election day. Okay, I know it's hard. I know it's long. I've done it. It's no fun. But go volunteer with the county because they always need volunteers to work at a precinct. I've never met a county that doesn't need more people. So put your eyes on the process.
So our viewers and listeners right now, all across the country, is there anything that you would say to them? We got less than a minute, but what would you say to them to get involved with this?
Yeah, all you got to do is look up your county election office, and there's going to be a place to volunteer. I want to tell people it's going to be a better election than it was in 2020. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why. Yeah, it's going to be better. So don't think your vote's not going to count. It's going to count, and you need to turn out. And if you don't turn out, then you can just watch this country fall to pieces.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's been lots of the state legislatures that have made great strides to secure elections more than they have been in the past. But look, we have to vote. We have to pray, vote, and stand. I mean, that's what we have to do. And J. Christian Adams from the Public Interest Legal Foundation, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch. It's our pleasure.